we good to go, bud?
You should be live.
Okay, we're live. So anyway, we're back at Hoagie's Garage. Run down our sponsors. See if we do better than we did last time, because we have the list. We gotta start out with Heartland Hardware. Check out for all your needs. They got 3 locations. Kaiser Aluminum Wheels is another one. Those are our newest 2. We don't want to forget Huset's Speedway. Got Mother's Day right around the corner. My Race Pass, if you're going to watch racing and keep up with anything throughout the country, basically. Live timing, a lot of neat stuff on there. S2F, another streaming service start to finish. They cover the Power I, several local tracks and whatnot. A lot of good stuff. Mount Tabor Cabinetry out on PA. Talk to Chris Fizzle, get your cabinets redone, get your house built, whatever he's got to do for you. Morning Sun Marketplace, huge flea market out in central PA. 3 football field building size things and whatever you want is there the way it sounds. Turn 2 Lodge in Knoxville if you're looking for a place to stay. As it says, right outside of Turn 2, walk to the track, walk back. Fulkins Brothers Trucking for all they do to us. Steve took me to Vegas and had a blast. Go to PA here in another month and a half. Not that I'm rubbing it in, bud, but let me rub on your shoulder a little bit. And Hero Haven. Did I forget anybody this time?
No, but we should just mention Lumber Lounge. They're not a sponsor, but they're a sponsor, and we know Snow really well.
Yep.
He always promotes us. It looks like the next, what do you say, 6 weeks on his thing, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. They're moving from Monday to Tuesdays.
Their kids are playing baseball.
And the time always fluctuates a little bit. But I would say between 8 a.m., 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., somewhere in there, they go live.
Yeah, usually 8:30, somewhere there they get going.
And, they just talk racing.
Him and Shane Stewart.
Yeah.
Bench racing, they call it.
Yeah, Snow found, I think, not better, but maybe
a major asset to his program.
Yeah, somebody that, was worth the World of Outlaws. What's the best you've done, Toe?
I've been to an outlaw race. I pushed them. Does that count?
All right.
Anyways, we got a show to do. So.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to do the podcast. I'll let you introduce.
Okay. Yeah, we're ready, I think.
Go.
All right. We're back at Hoagie's Garage, and we got Kyle Moody on with us out of Pennsylvania tonight. How you doing tonight, Kyle?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're having a blast.
I hope you were just sitting there laughing at us because we struggle to get through our sponsors.
We struggle all the time, bud.
But as you know, with racing, you wouldn't be racing if you didn't have sponsors, right, Kyle?
Absolutely. It's a very, very huge part of it.
You bet. You bet.
Later on, we'll let you run down your sponsor, but we'll save that for later. But to get the show started, we just got done with another gentleman out of PA, and well, you know who it is because we talked about it a little bit. We got to ask you, what's with the brown car this year?
Brown car. Well, I'm guessing that came from Chris.
It might have. We won't throw nobody under the bus, but
technically it's actually Desert Storm Tan, and it is tan. I think it's tan. I mean, but a lot of people have commented, and I don't know if it's from the lighting, from whether it was at the car show we had, or just some pictures. And some people say it's brown, some people say it's green. I've even had somebody say that it's silver. So I think a lot of it depends on the lighting, but it definitely could come off as brown, but it's actually tan, and it looks really good. The Bow Hunter Superstore, we had a truck that was wrapped in a little lighter of a tan color, and we decided when we did that, we kind of wanted to do a race car to match that, and it honestly turned out amazing. I mean, we unveiled it, and it was something different. There's not another race car like it. We kept it still with my traditionary colors, black and orange. The neon orange just pops off of it, and we dropped new merchandise this weekend with new shirts with the car on it, and the fans loved it. The crew guys all have tan or brown shirts that they're wearing, and it pulled together as a really nice package.
I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't hardly got to watch a PA race because there have been so many afternoon shows, and I don't get around to watching them yet, so I haven't seen the car. But I get the argument because we got to pick up at work, and the standing argument there is it gray or brown between us and like the mechanic. We argue a little bit periodically.
I think
it's the brown one, but whatever.
I think it's great that it's that many different colors. I mean,
it's a new car every week.
It's wrapped one color, and 10 different people think it's 10 different colors. How much better can it be than that?
Yeah, I have laughed like the first weekend we rolled it out of the trailer at Lincoln, and someone's like, "Man, that green is really nice." Oh, okay.
And what'd you say it was? Desert Storm?
Desert Storm Tan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There's plenty of pictures of it, probably on my Facebook or on the Moody Motorsports page. And,
Oh, I'm going to have to look now.
It's sharp looking.
Yeah.
We're going to have to check it out. It never hurts to do something different, mix it up a little bit. What the heck?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, we pride ourselves in rolling a good looking race car every year. Zach with Lakeside Apparel and Graphics. I mean, he does almost if there's a good looking car in Central PA, he's pretty much the man behind it on the computer, from drawing it up to vinyling it and looking good. And every year we try to do something different and better looking. And it gets, we say every year, we're like, we're never going to top this year. We're never going to top that car. And somehow we always do. It's cool. I mean, in our opinions, we like it. So
That's all that matters.
So, Moody Sports, do you own this? Is it a group of people? We're from Iowa, so help us out with, how your operation works.
Yep, absolutely. Moody Motorsports is me solely as the owner. I mean, it was started when I started racing go-karts when I was 8 years old. My dad had started Moody Motorsports, but my family's still big supporters of me and everything. But I'm currently sole owner of it and driver.
Okay. And then, are you the crew chief?
No, actually, my crew chief currently is Kurt DeWeese, which is Lance DeWeese's brother.
Okay.
Interesting.
That doesn't hurt.
Everything kind of just keeps revolving out there in PA.
Yeah, a little bit. I've been pretty fortunate actually in my 410 career to work with some pretty well known and decent crew chiefs, and not to full capabilities with all of them, but just getting a couple race stints for whatever situation may have been here and there, and it's cool to see the history, and I look up to a lot of those guys a lot because, let's face it, they've raced a lot more than me, and they've been around it a lot longer than me, but I look up to them, and even Kirk, I mean, he pretty much, fortunately, I have a pretty busy regular day job and business work life, and he handles pretty much the whole deal of at the race shop and at the racetrack. I mean, I'm very fortunate that he does what he does for me.
That's
awesome.
A major bonus. I was just out to Jody Rosaboom's last night. He's got all them midgets, and then Andy Pake's car there. He's tearing that apart, straightening it there, fixing that up or redoing it or something. I don't know. But yeah, I brought him supper last night, and I had 2 guys out there helping. He's got a handful of guys come help every Tuesday night, and what people don't realize is the amount of work that goes in just in maintenance in one of these cars. You see some clips with the Outlaws and the high limits, in a parking lot and stuff, but you never see the whole thing until you actually go witness it. Most of them guys, they strip the car after every race just about.
Oh, yeah.
All the tires, the bar, everything comes off and gets cleaned. I mean, it's a process. And I just stand out of the way.
I mean, Kurt's pretty fortunate. My dad's involved. We have 2 or 3 other guys that come to the shop, help him there 1 or 2 nights a week, and then at the track, he's got everyone knows their position and their job, and they do it, and it helps it flow through even at the end of the night from when we get back to we wash every night when we get back, and everybody helps and chips in, because if not, it would be miserable having to do it all by yourself.
Well, yeah, and then you're there till 2, 3 in the morning trying to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were at BAPS this last week. First of all, is BAPS streamed on anything? And then 2, your night was pretty dang good there. Give us a little rundown of how your night went also.
Yeah, absolutely. BAPS is streamed on Jeremy Elliott's SprintCarUnlimited.com, which is pretty cool. I think he's got all the 10 BAPS races there, and maybe a couple other shows in the area that he does. So it's cool that you can still watch it for some of my sponsor purposes and people that support me that aren't local to here also that can watch me on there. And BAPS has always been one of my favorite tracks. I just love getting around the joint. It's 5 minutes from my race shop. Growing up going there, whether it was back in the day, Thursday Night Thunder with my dad, and Sunday night racing, watching just all the great Central PA legends racing there. And for some reason, when I popped in the sprint car, I've taken to it really well. Unfortunately, I actually don't have a 410 win there yet, so I honestly thought this past Sunday I had a little chip on my shoulder. All day I kind of thought that maybe we had a pretty good shot. That was the name of our season this year, is to just try and put ourselves in better positions to be able to do that. And even a pick and choose schedule. The last, I don't know how many years we've run a full Central PA schedule with is basically 70 some races. And I kind of this year wanted to take a step back. We rebuild the team a little bit. I'm down to 2 motors, so we with probably a 30 to 40 race schedule wanted to pick the races that I had the best chances at. And Bash has a 10 race schedule there with a $20,000 point fund, and they do I think the same. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think Knoxville does it, but there's some local tracks and other tracks now that really starting to take onto this hot lap time trial thing.
Yeah.
I think kind of so the fans don't have to sit through time trials, but yet, you're not the fate of drawing a pill. So we were, I think, second quick in our group for time, and put me starting third in the heat. And I knew I basically had to win the heat to be in the redraw for the feature, which luckily we did. Started third in the heat and won the heat, and then I drew the 1 pill for the feature, and I felt real good all day. The car was fast. Kirk did a good job with the car there, and I led the first handful of laps. So we were getting into almost into lap traffic, and then it was just like yellow after yellow after yellow, and Dietz was behind me, and I knew the way that the racetrack was, one end was pretty much single file rubbered up, and the other end was like up against the fence, and which is basically you're just waiting for someone to throw slide bombs at you. And with the way that the restart was, I was getting the first 1 or 2, I was fine actually pulling away from Chase, and then I had one restart that I kind of didn't get off of 4 real nice, and I knew he was going to have a run on me, and I couldn't really cross him back over, and he got ahead of me, and we ran that way most of the race. There were still lots of cautions throughout, and I was, in my mind, not panicking yet, thinking I would have had another shot at the end as we were just getting into lap traffic, and me and Chase were both pretty much knocking the fence down in 1 and 2, and there goes Dietrich, and Brock found the bottom that me and Chase didn't see, and basically pretty much drove by us on the bottom, and I ended up 5th there because I couldn't quite get down once I was racing with Brock and Little Freddie, and it was tough. But I mean, hey, I basically second or third night out this year. Most of those guys, heck, they probably already have 8 to 10 shows in already this year. I'm not sure how many, but with my pick and choose schedule, we'll take the top 5 and move on to next week.
Yeah,
You bet.
it's better than getting it loaded in the trailer with the wrecker.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to. There's times I've pride myself in not trying to come in on the record, but at the same time, there's a fine line with being aggressive enough that sometimes your results may lack because I'm not aggressive enough. So
Yeah.
This year I want to put all that behind me and start with a clean slate and just make the best of each night out. And then if we do come in on the record, then I'll have to own up to it, and we'll go back again another night.
I do gotta give PA kind of a lot of credit. And I don't know why they're a little bit warmer than what we are normally, because we're
Basically,
about the same line. Because we're right by Sioux Falls, South Dakota. But you guys tend to be a little bit warmer. But by gosh, if it's warm enough, you guys are racing. I mean, that around here, it's normally Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So we're 2 months behind you. So I just, that I think that's why PA is probably top of the game when it comes to racing.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's kind of stupid, though, too. I mean, I love it. Trust me, I want to race. Still, I mean, I've been racing since I've been 8 years old, and I still would race every night of the week if I could. But, like this early in the year, luckily, a lot of our P racetracks recently, I'd say recently, have been really working with the teams and the drivers and even the fans of giving like a day early notice of canceling. So at least this early in the year, you can still go and do other things. But I mean, like years past, it was brutal. Literally, like it's snowing or raining, and they're like at 4 o'clock still thinking they're gonna race. It just ruins your whole night. So, we raced you can race 100 races in Pennsylvania if you want to. So there's really no reason to drag everybody out every single night if there's absolutely no chance of getting a show in. So I think they've kind of seen that maybe a little bit in their attendance in the stands of burning everybody out as a whole. There's a couple other drivers like myself this year that have kind of moved to a pick and choose schedule. So I think everybody as a whole has to get really smart to not burn everybody in the sport out. And I'm fine with starting early, but hey, if it's 35 degrees and winds are 40 mile an hour, let's just call it a day early so everyone can make other plans for the weekend, and then hey, we got next week to try again.
Yeah. 30 degrees and windy, it's no fun to sit out there. I tried that in Vegas on Thursday night out there. They did hot laps and time trials, and it was not hot.
And that's coming from a guy from Iowa.
Yeah, well then, I mean, it's a whole, you got to keep heating your engine all night long, and it's a lot more other added, these race cars are very high maintenance and technical as they already are.
Yeah.
Heck, half the ground's still frozen in the area, so it makes it difficult to probably work the racetracks the way that they need to be worked, and so I don't know, but yeah, I mean it's definitely cool that we start early because I feel like for whatever reason, yeah, you guys start later, but then our say April, May months, I feel like we always have a lot of rainouts throughout that.
Yeah.
So it always seems like we'll get 10 or 15 shows in, and then we're the ones sitting for a month, But right now, I mean, I don't know, we've been having even this weekend doesn't look real good. So
pretty much the whole country's rained
I
out.
don't know
Is
if
the way
there's-
it's looking so far.
Yeah, we're the driest probably. I
Yeah.
mean, we just got rain. We could race here, but it's not going to be warm enough to race probably.
No.
So, but
So, maybe just give us a little rundown on how last year went for you. Some of the highs or lows, whatever you want to talk about. Just, brief rundown of how last year all went. Because you said you ran 70 shows last year?
not quite that many. That was what was on schedule.
Oh, yeah.
We started off real hot at the beginning of the year. I had purchased a new motor and things were going real good. We were pretty consistent everywhere we went. And middle of the summer, we had some engine issues that we were fighting through and had to work through. And then I think it was during speed week, I had actually got in a crash with another guy and ended up getting a slight concussion. So I took about a month or two off, went and seen the proper doctors that I needed to go see. And then we kind of ended the year trying to bounce back from that. I mean, when Kirk came on last year, I had like 3 different engine builders, 3 different chassis manufacturers, and I had all this stuff. And basically, it was like, hey, this year we're gonna run through this stuff. We're gonna pick, what chassis manufacturer we want to go with next year. Pick what engines we want to have, and so we kind of did that. And at the end of the year, we had still some more bad luck. So the end of the year wasn't the greatest, but we knew that we had a lot of potential because of the way that we started the year off. So neither of us were too concerned, and we were just kind of taking it easy at the end of the year to get all our ducks in a row. We started kind of liquidating some of my equipment that I had passed and changing motors over to all Michael Newman from Bobby Run does builds for Shark Racing and Bobby Allen.
Yep.
He's my engine builder. I have 2 Michael Newman motors. He told me I just got another one. My second one's fresh now, so I'm kind of excited to see the changes he made with that one and plug that in soon. And but the motor I ran Sunday, that was his. It runs really good. Michael's I should say probably one of the youngest engine builders in the industry, and he takes a lot of pride in what he does. And he's always looking for something extra, and I appreciate what he does for me. I've been with him for years. So Kirk and I also we switched, sold some of my other chassis, and we're all on Triple X chassis now, and they've been working really good. And Kirk's big on CSI shocks, so we made a switch last season to CSI shocks, which didn't take me too much to get used to. But so we kind of worked through all of that as our first year together last season. We definitely had a couple races that were close to wins or should have been a win, but I feel already this year we've already been that close. I would fingers crossed that we can get a win or 2 this season.
yeah.
Subject changer, a little bit off the wall here. I forgot to ask Chris when we had him on. The big bombshell that came out of PA just this afternoon, late afternoon, early evening, I guess, probably in Pennsylvania. Jacobs is quitting.
Jacob Allen.
Jacob Allen is quitting racing. Who's your best guess? Because he said he's going to put somebody in the car. Who's your best guess might get that ride, or don't you have any idea? Being you're out there, you better chance something than we got. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I had texted Jacob a little bit, telling him to just enjoy his life, and he has a newborn there, and have him and Hannah just soak up life because it does go fast, and the racing does suck you in. I've been doing it long enough. I know, but he had told me that they had already had someone picked and someone's in it. So
okay.
I don't know who. He didn't tell me who, but if I had to guess, I doubt that it would be someone from the local scene, but I don't have a clue. I mean, there's one or two drivers that I would have suspicion of, but I don't know. I mean, I think, I don't know. Dylan says he doesn't have anything concrete yet, or even, I don't think Zeb Wise has anything going.
No.
There's a couple of Ohio drivers that come to mind, so I don't know. I mean, I'm sure as a team, they're going to sit down and see what makes the most sense for them and make a smart choice with it, and whoever they think would fit best for them.
Sure.
I like the Zeb Weiss idea myself. I liked his comment when Schott said that they're going to Chevy for a few races here, and I saw Zeb Weiss say, well, at least he didn't get fired running a Ford.
I didn't see that one.
I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yep.
But you said you're running a shortened schedule, 40 races, somewhere in there. What does that look like? Where are you all going then?
Yep, so basically pretty much only time trial shows in this area. I mean, Kirk and I want to be able to, one, build our time trial program, and two, set our own fate for the rest of the night. I mean, already it was kind of point proven there. Sunday, we got to set our own fate for the rest of the night. We timed in good, so it set the rest of our night up good. Our second night at Lincoln, it was pill draw. I drew pill 60, and it was a daytime racetrack and just single lane and not much passing, and we didn't have good results because it was the fate of the pill. Now, am I making excuses? Should we have been a little better to pass some race cars? But it was just, nowadays everybody is that equal and everybody's stuff is that good. You need to put yourself in the best situation possible. So pretty much, the 10 batch races are on the schedule. There's probably 15 or so Lincoln races that are time trial onlys, and then fill in the rest with Williams Grove that are mostly time trial stuff.
So help me out. What do you mean by just time trial stuff? How else do they do it?
Pennsylvania is big on their handicapping system. So basically, the better you run, or it goes off of mostly I think money earned or points average, or I don't know. It changes every year on how they do it. It seems, but basically, the better you run and the more consistent you run at the racetrack, the farther when you show up for a regular night, the farther you'll start in a heat race.
Yeah.
So there'll be many of times if you're pretty consistent at the beginning of the year, which had been my trend. I'm show up to Lincoln Speedway on a Saturday night, I'm starting 8th behind everybody.
Yeah.
It can make it really difficult, one, to come up through on a single file racetrack, and then you're starting deep in a feature, it's hard on your equipment because you have to drive overly aggressive. You take a chance of crashing your car coming up through, and I just think in this day and age, the handicapping stuff, I'm pretty sure there's not many other places in the country that even still do it. I mean, for you guys not to be aware or really follow what it is, I'm sure your racetracks don't do it.
No. Back in the day, they did. Back in the.
I am like our 305s do it that way. I mean, if you're really good.
I think it was good for the sport. Growing up, I didn't mind it. Hey, I was the first one that wanted to watch Fred Raymer and Hodnett and Lance
come from the back. Yep.
To win it, and then heck, they got handicapped again for the feature. Well, so much has changed and evolved in our sport. I mean, and I get that there's got to be probably some handicapping involved to some extent, but I'm on the threshold of barely affording to do it now, so I need to think.
Yeah.
I'm in the best position, and I'm not going to start behind. And no offense, everyone's got to start somewhere, but on those handicap shows, there's a lot of guys who could be inexperienced, or their equipment not as good, and their cars don't take off. And next thing you know, there's 3 crashes before you even get going on a regular Saturday night heat race. And I just don't need to put myself in that position.
Yeah, you know, that back in the day, a lot of guys worked on their own motors to make them whatever. Now everybody's buying them, and the motors are almost all identical. So, you know, a tenth, 2/10, even in time trials, get you, you know,
Could be 10,
9
20 spots or more times.
So I see what you mean about cars being equal and getting handicapped. That makes it really tough.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, just trying to be smart about it, and you know, if I, you know, had more funds available or more sponsorships, or someone comes on board that wants to see our team race more, then yeah, sure, I'll go race. But you know, with me footing bills and doing it, we can't afford to go do it. So
No. It's by no means cheap. You know,
No.
None of it is, you know. When it's $300 for a right rear tire or whatever, you know.
yeah, more than that.
Well, I was trying to be nice. But I didn't want to say too much. But yeah, you know, the expense of it is more. The teams are more equal. You know, you go back 30 years ago, you had your top tier and then your bottom tier, almost, you could say. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm trying to think back and my memory ain't the best. But you know, now the last 5-6 years or so, even longer than that, it's gotten so close. Like we were saying, you know, you look at the time trials at them national traveling teams, 1st through 20th, sometimes that's 2/10 of a second is all it is in time trials. It's so close. I mean, you lift on the throttle one time and it costs you 10 spots.
Oh yeah, yep. And unfortunately, that's why you see a lot of these travel singers, after they get so many cars entered on a single night, they actually have to
They split it
up into 2 flights, because you know, everyone's that close, but the racetrack falls off that much that ends up being, you know, not fair to some guys. So it's crazy how close it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It makes it fun for us spectators sitting watching on TV, but it makes it tough for the racer.
Yeah. Again, for everybody, we have Kyle Moody on from out in PA. It's kind of a PA week for it. We need to do more of these, because that way we get more people listening.
Yeah.
So, but
We'll have to shoot for a California week sometime. We'll cover both ends of the coast again. What did we do that one night? Weren't we Australia, somebody in PA, and we did California all in the same night?
yeah, it was crazy.
We covered the whole world in one night. It was kind of fun. We've never done that before.
What would you say is your most memorable moment racing? Doesn't have to be a.
I've had a few. I mean, I'm probably the biggest one. Probably my first career 410 win was a speed week win at Lincoln Speedway. That was a pretty big win for the area. There's a lot of people there that night, and kind of helped propel me a little bit to help get my name out there in the 410 ranks. And that was one, and probably I'm not sure my age, but we're racing go-karts, and this racetrack's actually no longer here in Pennsylvania anymore, but it's called Silver Spring Speedway, and it was a go-kart race. It was actually called the Big One, and me and my dad had won that, and it was pretty cool to still have that trophy and know that we had to accomplish that, and still being probably one of the smaller go-kart teams that went there. But it was, I forget the size of Silver Springs, but it was very large for a go-kart, to have a go-kart race there. And I mean, thousands of go-karts. You'd go there the day before and be there for 2 days all weekend kind of thing, and just a good memory to have.
So, what kind of track? Is it asphalt track? Was it dirt?
No, it was dirt. Yep. And
Yeah.
now it's a shopping center.
That happens
that's a
way
growing
too
trend
much.
anymore. So
No.
Yeah. So now when you go to Target and Wegmans, I can say that I won a race there.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
I hate to do it, but we better say hi to Joe, because Joe said hi. So hi, Joe.
My
Your
brother?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Well, throw him a bone. We pick on
Yeah.
him quite a bit.
Absolutely. That's it. We kind of get our name, not too many people ask questions to us. So our name is Hoagie's Garage because I live across the street. This is actually my brother's garage, Jerry. And then Joe's big into racing. He lives about 35, 40 miles. And my brother Dean is about 10 miles from him. So us four, I do have one older brother, but he isn't too much into racing, my brother Daryl. But, and then Tobe is almost my brother. And then we have, Sam Mosier kind of in our group and Tyler Hugavine a little bit too. So
Hugavine is the last name. They've always been called Hoagie for years.
Yeah.
Just about every one of you at one point about's been called Hoagie.
Yeah. So.
And that's where Hoagie's Garage comes from. But so
that's just a little quick
we
rundown.
pick on Joe
Sorry,
quite
Kyle,
a bit because he's a little bit of a smart aleck like me, and so.
Oh.
But go ahead.
Do you think you'll ever try to go to like Eldora or try to go to Knoxville?
Got a chuckle out of that one, bud.
I mean, Kirk and I have talked if we could keep building the team up. We took a step back this year to build the right equipment and try to get better results. I would like to, and who knows, maybe my pick and choose schedule might emerge out of PA. I've always been the guy, I felt like I've had opportunities before. We went out to Peevely on 55 the year of COVID because that was the only place racing. And, it was more than that. We just weren't quite prepared for that. I mean, one, to leave Pennsylvania, you need a truck and trailer that can kind of handle the tow, and just need to have, for me to tow that far away, I only have two motors, and while I'm racing one, the other one's at rebuild. So before you make a tow that far, it'd be nice to have a second motor under the bench so you're towing all the way out there. If something happens the first night, you can still race the rest of the weekend. And if my team is prepared and prepped right, I would love to do it. It just got to make sense. My crew guys, I think, would love to take a weekend and go do somewhere like that. But at the same point, I don't want to go until I know that I can go and do it correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm at the point in my career that I want to show up the best that I possibly can and not just go to make laps anymore. I've made a lot of laps in my career that I want to try to make the best of it from this point forward.
And and it wouldn't hurt to knock down one more sponsor to help cover the cost of getting there. Shit, just the fuel you'd burn to get there isn't an expense anymore.
Absolutely, yeah. We're pretty fortunate that our diesel fuel bill here in PA is not too big because we're just pretty much going in a half an hour radius window.
Yep. We were talking sponsors. Before we forget, why don't you throw your sponsors out there once again? At least they get to hear themselves on our little podcast if they listen.
Yep, that's fine. Yep. On my top wing is Dynatech Controls. Mark Myers, he's been with me for a really long time. And my front wing is Kent Beverage Concepts. Brian Kent, he's been great on coming on board a couple years ago. Drop of Ink Tattoo, Travis's Tree Services, Rack Daddies, Credit Connection Auto Sales, Memtech Services, Lakeside, the John Henry Group, Ball Hunter Superstore, Pigeon Hill Designs, just lots of close people that are within my circle that have supported me for years that help me keep this thing going, and just surrounded by a good group of people.
Rack Daddies, is that a rib joint or what is Rack Daddies?
Rack Daddies is a group of younger guys who enjoy hunting and fishing. So basically, they have an apparel line that they sell clothing, and they have same thing YouTube videos and vlogs that people follow and watch their hunting stories.
So we're talking antlers for racks. Okay, I got her.
Didn't know what kind of racks you were going to get
asking,
there.
bud. I asked. I went on the good side of the question. Oh, we're gonna get in trouble. You gotta be careful. But I'm running out of ideas right now, bud. Unless you come up with another one, we might have to let the poor man go.
Yeah. No, I just, I don't know how much you want to talk about this subject or not, but you had mentioned, last year you kind of got your bell rung with one of the crashes, and it took you a while to get back from that. You went and saw some doctors. Is there really much you could do with that? I mean, I coach football, so, we deal with concussions all the time, but what type of things did they have you do, or is it just sit there and do nothing type deal?
Well, no, I mean, honestly, absolutely, there's a lot that goes to it, and sitting there and doing nothing is the worst, honestly. Unfortunately, I've had 2 or 3 bad ones now that I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. Before last year, I had another one, and I've seen a world-renowned doctor called Mickey Collins. He's actually at the UPMC Pittsburgh facility. He treats most of the football players and Philadelphia players or Pittsburgh players for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
So it's a huge sports complex out there. Unfortunately, when I called this time, I was on the priority list for him, so they got me out there pretty quick. When I had my crash during Speed Week, the type of concussions that I usually get, I pretty much know instantly. I get a pretty bad pit and sick to my stomach feeling, and I kind of laid low with it for a week or two. I think we didn't race the next week anyway, so I didn't really have to worry about that. But I was just kind of hoping that it was going to go away, and it didn't. So I made the phone call to go see him, and I was glad I did, because right away they pretty much put me on a special regimen, and a lot of it is actually physical fitness. I mean, a lot of it is just working out, working routines, and eye-hand coordination stuff. And before I actually called him in them 2 weeks that I didn't, I was trying the same type of routine workouts they had gave me 2 years ago, and it wasn't working. So I actually ended up there's multiple different types of concussions that you can have, and this last one was different than the one that I had before, which was why the routines and the workouts they gave me weren't correcting it. But I went to see him, and they gave me a workout routine, and pretty much, he had me come back and see him within a month, and I took it take it very seriously. So working out every day, having them do what they had me do, and just walking and eating right and exercising right, and I could tell that it was clearing up. And we took another week or two, and then we went back racing, and we were pretty much good to go. And I've upgraded some of I have run a certain seat. I tried some different seats, and I tried some different stuff like that. And my doctor tells me it doesn't really matter what helmets you run, what seats you run. It's just, it all depends on the type of accident and how your body handles it. So
yeah.
I didn't know any of that when I got my concussions. But then again, I guess I haven't.
Like the days of, sitting in a dark room and not looking at a screen or anything, that's like, they have instructed me that's like absolutely the most worst thing you can do. Like, they want you on your phone or watching TV or reading books or being active, and you have to pretty much retrain your brain to like those things again. You do it up to a point where you have a tolerance and it doesn't make you sick. But,
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like to me a little bit, some of these world-renowned guys need to update football coaches on what's going on, because, we have a regimen. I mean, no headache. It takes 5 days to get back before you can do stuff. But, kids aren't like, when you first get them, they're not like, have to come to school. They don't have to take tests. They don't have to do, they can't look at their phones. They can't, do all these things. But it's just interesting here what you're saying, that, they actually wanted you to work out and stuff like that. That's like the opposite of what they're telling football coaches. And that's like a national video that we have to watch, and we have to follow their guidelines on. So that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it's very different. I mean, even those 2 weeks that I waited, he told me that I should have came out to see him right away, because he thought he could have gotten fixed up even quicker, and I wouldn't have been actually out as long. So, and they have tests too. Obviously I was concerned with how many I could have or this or that, and they're a very good judge of character with that, and they have many tests that they put you through. So yeah, he cleared me to go racing, and thinks I can race for many years to come. So that's what I plan to do.
I never realized there was different types of concussions. Like you said, your workouts changed from one to the other. But then again, my last one was in '86, so it's been a while. Things have changed, but I didn't realize any of what you were just saying. I guess we've never talked to anybody about it before.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with concussions like Bud does. But
we know that Jade Avedisian had
Yeah.
it. You know, we've
Had her on the show several times.
yeah. So we know she was dealing with that at the end of last year. She should have quit
Sooner.
way sooner than what she did
Yeah.
last year too. So it's just not easy as a race car driver to just step away, is it?
No, not at all. Even already this limited schedule that I'm on for this year is like, I'm actually praying for rain out for the nights that I don't race, so I don't miss nothing.
It helps to stay away if it's canceled, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sitting at home and watching it when I'm 10 minutes away and not racing it ain't fun.
yeah.
Oh, I can believe that.
Now, you said you had some awesome apparel. How do people go about getting your apparel?
Yep, MoodyMotorsports.com. It's all the new updated website with updated apparel, and they can order it right there and have it shipped to them.
You
And that's also got pictures of the brown, green, gold, yellow car, whatever color people think it is, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we wish you the best all the way back out here in Iowa, and go get a bunch of wins this year.
That's the plan. Thank you.
All right.
Take care,
Thanks.
Kyle.
All right, thanks. Yep,
Yep.
have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Is he still there?
I think I pushed the button as you were saying that to me. Sorry, Kyle.
That's all right.